Um, First of all, I would like to express my appreciation for the India Foundation and the Vietnam, the Academy of Foreign Affairs. This is for inviting me to attend this very important gathering here. It is my distinct honor and privilege here today to share some of my thoughts on the security architecture in this region. And particularly, before I start, I would like to say that it is also my great pleasure because last week I was in Hangzhou, just by the side of West Lake in Hangzhou, China. So for me to come from the shore of beautiful lake in West Lake in Hangzhou to the beautiful shore of the beautiful West Lake here in Hanoi, it is truly a great pleasure for me. So I only got 8 minutes, so I'll try to keep it very as brief as possible. I try to, I think, offer my very brief thoughts, perhaps surrounding three questions regarding security architecture in the region. First is where we are, and also, secondly, briefly, China's major initiatives or thinking in those lines and where we should be going. So first, observation, of course, Asia really doesn't have a region-wide security architecture. I suspect this might be one of the major reasons why we're having this panel here today, because we are more discussion and efforts are barely needed to in that direction. So if we break it down to different sub-regions, if we look at Northeast Asia, there over the years has been calls for the establishment of a Northeast Asia security mechanism, but partly because of the North Korea nuclear issue and the rising nationalism and history between Japan, South Korea, and China, as well as also now the growing the power competition, if not rivalry, between some of the major regional powers, particularly United States and China, sort of become the obstacles that really prevented such a Northeast Asia security mechanism from emerging. And then if we sort of move our eyes down the map to use South Asia, then we actually do see a pretty successful experiment here, which is ASEAN. Or the ASEAN way, which refers to the approach to solving differences and problems based on the respect of different cultural norms of countries in Southeast Asia. So I think that only so far, this may be the only mature and successful effort sort of at the sub-region level, which is ASEAN-based architecture. And in fact, ASEAN-based architecture has been playing a very important role in the regional security matter. But, you know, but to be fair, there is also limitation to the ASEAN-based architecture. And first and foremost is that is the ASEAN-based architecture is not able to truly mitigated so the growing great power competition I just mentioned, and certainly, and of course, there's elephant in the room, which is the United States, the U.S.-led bilateral alliance system, or the so-called hub and spoke system in Asia, and there's no doubt, because American strategists are talking about the hub and spoke system as the basis of American primacy, if not hegemony, in the region. But there's also a limitation to that architecture, if we may call it, which is this is simply an exclusive architecture or system. It is actually the bilateralism in that architecture, the hub and spoke system, in fact, is incompatible with multilateralism as manifested in the emerging powers like India and China and many other emerging countries in the region. So how to reconcile that is a big challenge. And now, lastly, there's also another experiment. Is also, I think, to a great extent, a very successful, interesting effort, which is the Conference on Interactions and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, or CRCA, CICR in short. Which was established in 2002 and now have 26 members, 12 observers, organizations, including both, I think, Vietnam and India and China are members of the CICR. And I think CICR actually both as the largest, the most inclusive, and also the largest multilateral security forum that including covering very diverse, very different political systems, religions, different cultures and development modes in the region, in Asia. So I think that's pretty, that's of course it's not a it doesn't aim to exhaust all the type of different of architectures so far we have, but this is basically what we have now in the region regarding security architecture. And secondly, now I'll move to China's initiative. China has been, over the years and decades, and also has been making a lot of efforts to try to promoting help the development of regional security architecture. So some of the flagship sort of initiative, including, everyone knows that, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, with the inclusion, the entry of India and Pakistan into Shanghai SCO last year. So, very quick. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization now is one of the also very important regional organization in matters of security architecture. Now I will, since I was told I only got 1 minute left, so I'll just move very quickly to where we should be going. I think several parameters probably should be laid out as to what kind of a region-wide security architecture we should be envisioning. First, I think it should be inclusive rather than exclusive. Secondly, I think it should be equal footing, non-hierarchical rather than hierarchical, non-hegemonic rather than hegemonic. And of course, it also should be mutual respect of different system and culture and religions, etc. So in speaking of that, that also reminds me of the so-called the new outlook on Asia security, which Chinese President Xi Jinping actually proposed in 2014 at the Shanghai summit of CICR, which is that we should be pursuing the common security, comprehensive security, cooperative security, and sustainable security, and which actually should be the basis for a new structure of Asian security and cooperation. So my time is up, and I perhaps just laid out a lot of the things for discussion, debate, and with that, I will turn over to Chair. Thank you.